Hi, everybody, and welcome to our program today on springtime and things that you can do in springtime, some activities. Happy spring, first of all. Yeah, today we're going to be sharing some tips on how you can really embrace springtime, getting outside, and some different kind of fun adventures that might you might be able to incorporate into your days, your springtime days, to get outside and enjoy the spring weather. So, basically, my name is Marlene. I'm a health coach and personal trainer, and I do not live on the East Coast anymore. I actually live on the West Coast, but I lived there for many, many years, and I know that it's oftentimes the winters are kind of hard. We kind of hibernate a little bit, like the bear, and then finally the clocks change, the days get a little bit longer, and it kind of reinvigorates you. Spring really is a season of renewal. So today we're going to be talking about how to use that time. And again, for folks who are just joining, I'm going to keep a chat box open here so that you can pop in any questions or comments you have. So, again, after the shorter, colder, darker days of winter, we have this longer days, more sunlight, usually a little bit more energy and a renewed sense of optimism. So, getting outdoors and spending time in nature really has a lot of other benefits as well, health and well-being benefits beyond the sense of renewal and optimism. In terms of physical education, spending time outdoors encourages us to do more physical activity and exercises, whether it's being out walking or hiking or cycling. Outdoor activities um, are much easier to do in the spring than in the cold of winter. And being in nature itself does promote movement and helps you to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And we know that regular physical activity can improve your cardiovascular health, strengthen your muscles and bones, and overall boost your fitness levels. So, spring is a great time to reinvigorate your fitness routines, or readjust your fitness routines. In terms of vitamin D production, being outdoors exposes us to natural sunlight, which is essential for our body's production of vitamin D. And vitamin D is really crucial for maintaining our healthy bones and teeth, regulating our mood, supporting your immune system. It is a very important vitamin that we need, and being in the sunshine helps to do that. It also boosts your immune system. Spending time out in nature exposes us actually to a diverse range of microorganisms, bacterias, and that can help strengthen your immune system. You remember maybe as kids playing in the dirt. Well, while you were playing in the dirt, you were probably inadvertently strengthening your own immune system. So being in natural environments really can stimulate the production of our natural killer cells, basically, and other immune components, immune system components that can lead us to a stronger defense against illnesses and allergies. Being outside can improve your sleep. Exposure to natural light and physical activity in nature can regulate your body's natural sleep wake cycle, our circadian rhythms, and promoting a better sweet sleep quality. Um, Spending time outdoors during the day can help synchronize those circadian rhythms and improve your overall sleep patterns. A lot of times they'll say even first thing when you wake up, a lot of health advocates suggest that you get outside first thing in the morning within the first hour or so of waking up and get a little exposure to some natural sunlight, and it can really help with your natural circadian rhythms. And being outside also improves your overall well-being, not just your physical health. Being in nature has a positive impact on mental health by reducing stress, anxiety, and depression. It can provide a sense of calmness, relaxation, allows us to disconnect from the demands of daily life. Um, Nature also promotes mindfulness, helping us focus on the present moment and, really reduce a lot of the inner stresses that we feel. Nature has a positive impact also on our cognitive function, including your attention span, your memory, and your creativity. Studies have shown that when you spend time in nature, you improve focus and concentration. It can enhance our problem solving skills and overall increase our productivity. So, you're at work and you're really starting a midday, starting to feel like, oh, I'm drained. A good lunchtime walk can actually make your afternoons more productive as well. Nature has a calming effect on both our mind and our body, so it can help reduce stress levels between the sights and sounds and smells in nature. They actually can activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation and reduces the production of the stress hormones like cortisol. Connecting with the natural world fosters a sense of connection and appreciation for natural beauty. It allows us to develop a deeper understanding and maybe even a respect for our environment. When you start to see all the flowers coming up and just the beauty of nature, it can foster a feeling that you want to be able to protect and preserve nature. And increasing our social connections. When you're outside, in our house, unless you're inviting people in, you're kind of solitary. You get outside in the community and getting out in nature, it provides you with an opportunity for social interaction and connecting with others. So, engaging in outdoor activities with your family or community groups or just roaming around your neighborhood, you're much more likely to create social opportunities for social connection. So, being outside is beneficial for our health, for our well-being. So let's explore some ways that you can enjoy the outdoors this spring. So, how about first thing we talked about fitness, taking your workouts outside. It can reinvigorate your fitness routine. If you're getting tired of going to the gym or just doing your workouts in your room or whatever, getting outside is a great way to reinvigorate that. So, whether you're doing body weight exercises, or I know a lot of communities offer outdoor yoga classes, or even taking your own yoga, program outside. Not only do you get your daily dose of exercise, but you'll enjoy fresh air and sunshine. Walking, going for a walk, simply walking or running, perfect outdoor fitness activities. Most people who are real runners, I know, hate doing the treadmill nonstop, but they do it during the winter to stay in shape. But once you can get outside to run, it's just such a different experience. Um, we know that walking and running is great for our heart health, for our bone health, because they're weight bearing exercises. It helps with weight management, it boosts your immune function. So many better metabolic health, so many reasons why we want to be, having a regular fitness routine. So, ways you can do that is just get the family involved, even, with the longer days. Maybe you get a little walking routine around your neighborhood with the family after school or after dinner. Walk at lunchtime, as we mentioned. Not only is it a nice break from the desk to get up and get moving, good for your musculoskeletal system, but also can help you with being more productive in your afternoons. A big thing, training maybe for a charity walk or a charity run. Most 5Ks or charity walks, even runs, there are, if you're not a runner, you can go in and just walk or a charity walk. So training for that is a great thing to do. And the things you want to think about if you're exercising outdoors, whether it's walking, running, or fitness, is you want proper footwear, appropriate attire. The temperatures can rise or drop pretty quickly. So making sure you're dressed in layers and you can adjust as the temperature adjusts, as your body temperature adjusts. Always want to have a good warm up and start slow and build up if you're just starting out. So walking and running, lots of different things you can do. Hiking is another amazing way to enjoy the outdoors during springtime, exploring hiking trails. And there's so many different places to hike. I mean, it doesn't have to be deep in the woods or in a forest. A lot of really great hiking things in New England, including all of, if you like to do a little more mountainous hiking, a little more strenuous hiking, all of the peaks in New Hampshire. So it's a perfect time to hit the trails, exploring the beauty of nature. Research hiking trails in your area, maybe plan a weekend adventure with family and friends. Some important things you want to consider when you decide on a hike. You really want to, familiarize yourself with what the terrain's going to be. And if you're hiking altitudes, you want, the top can be very different temperatures than the base, so you want to be ready for that. Understand what the conditions going to be as you increase your altitude. You want to make sure that you have proper footwear, particularly in the spring. Things can be kind of muddy or wet, so you want to make sure you have good gripping footwear. Dressing appropriately again in layers, because that temperature does change and our body temperature heats up, we change. Sunblock is still important in the spring, even though that sun doesn't feel as strong as it does in the summer. It's still pretty strong. Bug spray, of course, and snacks, water. Make sure your phone is charged, and always let somebody know if you're planning to hike, especially if you're planning to hike alone. So hiking, there's a address down here, and at the end of the program, I have a slide with some more websites that you can look on to find some of these resources as well. So hike for your health. And then outdoor sports. It's funny, sports aren't just for our kids anymore. And spring is a really good time to participate in outdoor sports. If you think about the weather patterns, weather in spring is generally runs anywhere from 50 degrees to 75 degrees or so, not usually a whole lot more than that. So really good temperatures to be active outside. So trying an outdoor sport is a great thing. And there are places where you can find adults involved in different sporting activities, team sports. So soccer, basketball, pickleball is really huge for all the pickleballers, tennis, frisbee, golf, lots of different things. And if you are interested in finding other adults to participate in team sports with, there are places like your town rec department does adult leagues. REI, the outdoor store that is in New England, offers a lot of different opportunities for outdoor recreation, hikes, things like that. A lot of times, your local running store, where they sell running sneakers, often sponsors runs for people. And there are websites out there. There's one called adultsplaysports.com. And again, I have that address at the end of the program, where you can actually look on, plug in what area are you from, and see what kind of sports are being offered. Meetup groups as well is a great thing to do. If you've never done a meetup group, it's meetup.com, and you just go on, and there's a million different little groups that offer activities. Some are social in nature, some are athletic in nature. So lots of ways to get involved in playing sports. And really great thing. You'll socialize, you'll get exercise, and just getting outside. So lots of great things to do. Biking is another really great sport. Going cycling. Spring is the perfect season to dust off the bike, go for a ride, exploring new bike trails, ride through scenic routes, bike even, just start using your bike to bike around town. A lot more designated bike trails are being offered. I know when I lived in Boston, I was always surprised because they were constantly adding more biking paths. Which is great. You can Google bike trails near you, and you'll find a listing of bike trails. A couple of my favorites are like the Charles River Bike Path around Boston, the Shining Sea Bike Path in Falmouth, or Cape Cod Rail Trail. And I know there's rail trails in New Hampshire. So biking is a really wonderful exercise to do. It's great for our heart, for our lung capacity, really helps you improve your balance, joint health. And if you have any issues with um, osteoarthritis or issues with joint health in your knees, biking is usually one of the physical therapy activities that they recommend you do. Really helps with weight management and, again, being outside, stress reduction. Things you want to remember, of course, dress appropriately, and helmets. because we don't want any head injury. So I really recommend that you maintain a helmet uh, habit for sure. Um, Spring's an ideal time to connect with nature by starting your own garden, whether it's just a little herb garden on your balcony or a larger vegetable garden in your backyard. Great thing to do and involve the kiddos. Great thing to do just for nature and to help you eat well and eat healthy. Nothing like eating things that you grow. It's a great way to get active, to relieve stress, and enjoy the beauty of blooming flowers, fresh produce. You know, you get home from work and you have something that you have to do. You go out to the garden, and it's a great way to decompress. You know, as you putter around the garden, and even if you're just a beginner, there's all kinds of information online about what plants to plant together. There are these also really great things now, if you don't even have much space or yard space, where you can grow vegetables and flowers, everything hydroponically. I know a friend of mine has a tower. They sell these towers, and you can just get the seedlings and put them in, and just making sure you're adding water and plant food, and you're growing hydroponically out of the tower. It takes up like a little 3 foot by 3 foot space. I think Lettuce, Lettuce, Grow, GRO, is a company that sells a tower, and there's a bunch of them out there. So food towers for gardening. And it's also a great time to enjoy the spring fruits and vegetables that are hitting your market, and check out your farmers markets around, because eating local is always healthier. The food is generally picked and on the shelves much quicker. So checking out your local farmers markets for the freshest produce is great. But here's a list of some of the um, fruits and vegetables that are usually abundant in the springtime. So, explore some of the fresh vegetables and fruits that are out, and maybe try some new ones if you haven't already tried them. Um, Getting outside and, as we're talking about nutrition, planning a picnic. The beach is not just for summertime. It's actually lovely before the season starts. You might not be swimming, but a great place to go just to enjoy the fresh, salty air and listen to the ocean. It's all very relaxing and stress relieving. Also, when we're near water, we have an abundance of negative ions. Our bodies are electrical beings, and we're often hit with positive ions by all of the electronics and everything around us, and balancing out that with negative ions, like near a waterfall or moving water, you generally have a little bit more negative ion action in the air, and that's really calming for your system. Getting to the beach, maybe doing a little preseason beach picnic, talking about social connections. If starts to get nice out, maybe plan a picnic at a local park or in your backyard, maybe potluck, throw it out to the neighbors. We're all looking to come out from hibernation and start reconnecting with people maybe in your own neighborhood that you haven't seen in a while. And during the lunchtime, packing your own lunch, we know that usually packing your lunch means that you're eating a little bit healthier, but brown bagging it and taking that outside, either by yourself for some peace and quiet, or with coworkers. If you're in an office, a little time to connect outside of the work hour, just getting that fresh air, reinvigorating yourself for the afternoon. And another great way is to volunteer for a community cleanup, whether a beach or a park or whatever. There's all kinds of opportunities, so you can always look online to see if there's some volunteer opportunities. Great thing to do again with the kids, giving back, so we all kind of have an idea of how we can help keep everything, keep Mother Nature looking beautiful. So great ways to connect outside, whether it be fitness, whether it be socializing, biking, hiking, playing a team sport. just getting out in the afternoons or the evenings and walking your neighborhood, walking to school if it's convenient. I know one day out of each year when my children were in elementary school, we would have a neighborhood walk to school day, and the kids just thought that was the best thing ever. It was only about a mile and a half, and we all planned it and walked on mass. And so, really, just great ways to get out of the house, get outside, and start to enjoy nature. And there are some other kind of nature therapies, actually things that folks do um, purposefully for mindfulness that put them in nature. And a couple of these, one popular one is called forest bathing. No, you're not taking a bath in the forest. But this originated in Japan. It's forest bathing or Shinrin Yoku. And it's a therapeutic practice actually that involves immersing yourself into a forest environment. And they believe it promotes health and well-being. And it's not about exercising or hiking. Instead, it's really deliberate and mindful experience in the natural environment. And you really want to consider all your senses. You want to be hearing and seeing and smelling and feeling all of the senses of what's on around you. And studies have demonstrated that forest bathing can reduce your pressure, improve your immune function, and boost feelings of well-being overall. So forest bathing, if have time and you have an area, get out in nature and do some forest bathing. And then there's something called earthing or grounding, and that's a practice where you walk barefoot on natural surfaces, grass, beaches, the sand, or dirt. And again, we talked about that negative ion release that you get at the beach because of moving water, but it's also in the sand. We're electrical beings, and we live on a planet that has gives off an electrical force. So the concept is, by walking barefoot on natural surfaces, that it has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects that can reduce inflammation, can improve your sleep, boost your energy, enhance your mood, decrease stress, and really support your health overall. And while more research is needed about this, many people do find that it's a very simple and enjoyable way to reconnect with nature and to improve your overall sense of well-being. So, beyond exercising and playing sports and socializing, finding ways to get out in nature and just be quiet and have time is really important too. I know on Cape Cod, down in Brewster, there's a natural preserve, takes you through the salt marshes, and um, a little museum there, they offer a forest bathing experience, which we did. And, basically it's just a small group, and you walk out into the grove and whatever, and you just sit and you really, you know, think about what's going on around you. Try to shut everything else down and just listen and smell and feel the senses of what's happening around you. And it is a very, very relaxing experience. And, so much of our life is spent digitally online and everything. So a little bit of time, it's a meditative practice, a little bit of time where you disconnect and get out of get away from your digital world is really helpful for our overall well-being. So those are some ideas, some things that you can maybe add into your routine, are ways to, so maybe that you hadn't thought about, to get you out and get into get yourself out and get into nature in a different way. Maybe add a new hobby or activity onto your list. So the hiking, there are a couple of sites that I've mentioned that I have listed here. If you want to take screenshot of this or even a photo with your phone so that you have these sites. I would recommend doing that now. But there's some great hiking sites out there that will give you, some ideas of where to go, and they also talk about the level of strenuous activity or not. They let you know how strenuous the activity would be. So some hike finders, and again, as I mentioned, there's some really great bike trails around New England. A lot of our old railroad trails, railroad tracks and things have been converted into bike trails. And so, biking is such a great activity to do. So there's a lot of ways to stay off the road and get out to a bike trail. National parks, I think we think a lot of our national parks are like west, out in the west and whatever, but we have a lot of we have a lot of areas around New England that are designated national parks. So there's a website here. TripAdvisor actually has a list of them, but great thing to do to bring the family to a national park, and usually there's some great information about the historical context and ways that you can potentially help to preserve our natural environment. Zoos and aquariums in New England, we're lucky to have a bunch of great ones. That's a great way to spend an afternoon outdoors. Not only are you connecting with nature, but you're connecting with, animals, and we know that always lowers your stress to do that. The beaches and lakes, we have many, many, many lakes in the New Hampshire and Maine and region, and where are coastal communities up and down the coast of New England. So great opportunities to get to a lake or a beach. And then at the bottom, I've listed a couple places where you can discover some sports and recreation leagues. Again, adultsplaysports.com is like a master website, and you go in and you put in your area, and it comes up with it'll come up with a list of adult sports leagues. Meetups are a great way to figure out some recreational sports. And again, even your local rec departments will often send out, usually in the early spring and in the fall. Um, they have their programming calendars. So it's not just for the kids. We're always looking for camps for the kids in the summer, but it's also great for adults. So, just getting outdoors, being in nature, it provides a holistic approach really to your health and well-being. And no matter what you're doing while you're out, just being out and changing the environment, being in the natural environment, you will reap physical and mental benefits, and a great way to promote a balanced and fulfilling life. So that is our program on outdoor recreation. I'll leave this up. I do have a chat box open. So if anybody has, I'm going to open up a Q&A too. If anybody has any questions or comments, or if you have any favorite bike trails or hiking routes or spring activities, charity walks or runs that you want to share with the group, feel free to pop that in the chat box or in a Q&A. And if you have any questions for me, I did look ahead at the weather for the area. It looks like you're coming into some really beautiful weather coming up, sunny and 60s to 70s as you move through the spring.